Welcome to Equipped for Ministry, presented by Big Woods Bible Church. Our hope is to equip the saints for the work of ministry by talking through common questions Christians ask. We hope you find this discussion to be helpful in the ministry God has called you to. But now, let's get equipped for ministry.
Welcome back to this part 2 episode on family discipleship. Stuart and I are going to just pick up right back in the middle of the conversation we were having about catechism. So if you need to go back and listen to that previous episode, be sure you do that. But now, let's get equipped for ministry.
For those, because I grew up having no idea what a catechism was. That was something I was only introduced to actually in the last couple of years. So what is a catechism?
It's an ancient teaching method that is questions and answers. So this is a book called Big Truths for Little Kids. Great book. I really like Susan Hunt and her children's books specifically. I have another one of hers as well. But this has, I believe this is the Westminster Shorter Catechism. It's a catechism specifically for children and simple questions. This isn't Westminster. I'm not sure which one it is. And the first question on a lot of catechisms is, who made you? And the answer is God. What else did God make? All things. Why did God make you in all things? For his glory. And how can you glorify God? By loving him and doing what he commands. Why are you to glorify God? Because he made me and takes care of me. And just so on and so forth. Kids like to ask questions to begin with.
Yeah.
So we can help them ask good questions, but then give them good answers as well. And so this book has the questions to ask at the beginning, and then a story that relates to some of the questions, and then some questions to like comprehension. I think this is a little bit, it's probably 5 or greater age-wise. The other one that I have is meant for younger. But we started a catechism when Zay was probably 10 or 11 months with sign language, because he was picking up sign language, and we were like, all right, I mean, this is something we want to do anyway, so we'll teach him God, and I think we did all things and glory, and he got through 3 before he was able to start formulating words to answer as well. So I don't know. It's just something that he's enjoyed, and I think it's a great way to teach theological truths. Now, he's not understanding all of the answers that he's giving. One of the questions recently is, what is the righteousness of God? And I mean, he can give an answer to that, but it means that God is the final standard of what is right, and he always does what is right. Does he understand that? No, but my hope is that he can have that big truth that he's going to grow into, instead of, an answer that can satisfy his little mind that he's going to grow out of, I guess is how I like to phrase it. But I think catechism helps with that.
And that, like, having a truth you don't fully comprehend, but you learn to grow into. Yeah. Sounds weird, but just to kind of toss this out here.
Sure.
My background's in biology and chemistry in undergraduate. They teach you true biology and chemistry in middle school and high school. You don't get to understand why it works that way until upper level college work, or even into graduate level work. Why do orbits of electrons work this way, or why is the cell wall constructed in this manner? Why do those rules apply? Yeah. But you still learn them.
Yeah.
So that isn't unusual. That sounds interesting. I might have to steal that book.
It's very good. Yeah. The other one from Susan Hunt. Let me find it here. Is my ABC Bible verses, and like you're saying, we are going to teach our kids the alphabet, and so I think I've mentioned this one before, but it's got a letter, A, Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turns away wrath. And so ask Zay, what does A stand for? And he'll say, a soft answer turns away wrath. B, blessed are the peacemakers. C, children obey your parents. That's a crucial one. That was the first verse we memorized. It was Ephesians 6:1. But which is the same sort of thing. But I really like that book, and in all honesty, the first time I was reading through it, I was like, this is so cheesy. Like, it's about Missy and Bill and their family and just different things that they do semi-related to the Bible verse that the letter stands for. And I was like, I don't think we're going to read this one again. And then Zay started saying, A stands for a gentle answer turns away wrath. And I was like, maybe this book's all right. And so we kept reading it, and we've read through it a whole bunch of times, and he loves it.
I might have to steal that one too. So,
okay.
I mean, as much as I'm joking about that, I'm kind of like semi-serious, because we actually brought stacks of books, each of us, of books that were like, oh yeah, we love this book. Or like, for me, I soon want to do these books with the kids. I left mine in my office, so I don't have them all here.
Yeah.
We have actually a good deal of overlap with some of our books, mostly because I see a book that he has, and I'm like, huh, what's that? And we'll talk about it. I'm like, I think I'm going to buy that for my own family. And what I'm kind of pointing out with that is, if you're like, I don't know where to start or what books to get or what's good, talk to other people in the church. Feel free to bug us. We would love to get you the names of these books. Or if you're like, I would love to disciple my family, but I don't have the money for a children's Bible,
we can help.
We will get you one.
Yeah.
Because this is what we're called to do as the church, is to support one another and help one another disciple our kids well.
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel, because there's a lot of people around Bigwoods who have had kids before us and who love diving into these book subjects and researching these things. And we would love to get you the names of good resources for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'll make these brief, as brief as I can.
Okay.
I will also link them in the description below for those of you who are interested. So this is a series, and there's one more that we don't have, which I'm ashamed to say that I don't have it. But this one is Bible Stories Every Child Should Know. Another great story Bible, and it's like a page and a half, 2 pages per story. Great pictures and all of that as well. But it's helpful, and there are questions to discuss at the end as well. Everything a child should know about God, just simple truths about who God is. And these ones are a little shorter.
They're one-pagers.
Yeah, a few questions as well to go through.
The Red K family has all these.
You have every one a child should know, the church history one?
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay, this is what every child should know about prayer, and it again, just simple little things, and teaching children how to pray and what is the purpose of prayer, why we do it. So they are good, and it's a series. There are 4 currently. There may be more at some point.
Yeah, those aren't so much children's Bibles, but they're the books that we read to Lincoln for fun during the day in many ways.
Yeah.
So.
And then as far as excellent books go, this one is excellent. I forget, we got this, I think, at a Shepherding a Child's Heart conference recently, and didn't pick it up for a while, but we've read it. I mean, this is Zay's go-to book. Like, in the morning, we come downstairs and we read this. It's written by Jeremy Pierre, one of my former professors, and it's written very artistically, poetically. It doesn't rhyme, but he just writes really well. Great pictures as well. And what's helpful about this is it's taking kind of like the entire story of the Bible and telling it in portions so that you can see the arc. We would call that biblical theology. But it just helps you to see what the entire Bible is about. And it's a journey home. So it's about the earth being made new and getting back to Eden sort of thing. But very good. One of my favorites recently, God With Us. I'm trying to think. Let's see here. This is also from a series. What's the series? Tales That Tell the Truth. This is one of them. We have, I think, 2 others. This is The Storm That Stopped, Jesus with his disciples on the Sea of Galilee. And The other one we have, oh man, the garden, the cross, and the tomb. And there's one about prayer, every day, every way, every prayer, something like that. But this entire series is very good as well. And this is just a focus in on Jesus calming the storm, and another good, helpful book, well illustrated, and also has it's accurate to the story. If we're talking about good books, we should probably also talk about bad books. I'm not going to name bad books, but I did throw one out this morning.
Okay.
Because as we've been reading through it, I'm reading and I'm like, that's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
And so keep in mind, for every good resource that we would recommend, there are probably 2, 3, 4 bad resources that, for whatever reason, it's just normal to have on your shelf because, it's a Bible storybook, it must be good. Well, That's not the case. And so I did throw one out this morning because I was like, we're not reading this one.
And I mean, it's kind of a side subject, but I've also made 1 or 2 books disappear that were not theologically related. So just generally, like, I mean, one of the things, if people ask what does Lincoln want for Christmas, we always say books.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where this book came from, how it got to us, but there was one book that I was flipping through of his that in my mind promoted sin. And I'm like, nope, this is disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it has.
I've done the same thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So not just considering, okay, what are our kids taking in good wise, but parents were called to guard, and especially fathers were called to protect our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that might mean 1 or 2 books disappear from the house.
Yeah. There was one I was reading recently. And, okay, lest you think that the only things Stuart and I are reading with our kids are storybook Bibles, Zay loves Curious George.
Spot.
Okay. Spot. We
Spot in Sesame Street.
Okay.
The old school Sesame Street.
And I mean, Zay would just sit and read for hours, and that we have lots of other books that we read as well. I had a similar experience recently where I was like, I'm reading through this and I'm like, this kind of seems like it's celebrating the fact that this character is disobeying their parents. And I was like, that's maybe not something we should be reading. And I mean, we have a conversation about it and go from there. This is also another very good storybook Bible, the Beginner's Gospel Story Bible. Jared Kennedy, he is a pastor in Louisville at Sojourn Community Church. He's their children's minister, and it's a very good book. Also has questions to discuss, well illustrated again. I think there's a prayer with each story as well, and it's just something that helps you get into the story. No prayer, just questions. And another good resource. Let's see. This one will be really good for Zay at some point. This is a commentary on the Psalms written for kids.
Okay.
And Marty Michalski, it's called Wonderful, Ancient Psalms Ever New. I mean, this will probably be good when he's like 8 or 10. But he also has one on theology. It's called the Ology, so something to look forward to. I won't say much more about it then. Max Lucado, You Are Special, Why the Image of God Matters for children and how to think through that. Good one. Classic abridgment of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And Zay just loves it. We're actually reading through the non-abridged version, and he loves that as well. Sophie and the Heidelberg Cat. This one is cheesy. I will say that. But it is good, and it's based on the first question of the Heidelberg Catechism. What is our only comfort in life and death? That I am not my own, but belong body and soul in life and in death to my faithful Savior Jesus Christ, and so on and so forth. But just a helpful little book about what it means to belong to God. So, there are 2 more over there. Excuse me. We Believe, another ABC, an alphabet primer, ascension, baptism, church, disciple, those sort of things. And it's a board book, so if your kid is into tearing up books, which...
Never. Not really. There's quite a number.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one. It's from Baby Believer, which they have quite a few good books out. Harvest House Publishers. And then last but not least, good old Steve Nichols. He has a few of these. And I have talked down on Steve Nichols before, but I didn't mean to. I think he's great at what he does. He just can be dry sometimes. But he writes well, and this is an ABC Bible history. He also has a church history one and another one. I'm not sure. This is put out by Crossway. And so just going through different things. So F is for fish, frogs, fan, and faithful. And he's got a Bible verse on the faithfulness of God and a little explanation to help with that. So lots of resources out there. Lots of good things. There are also lots of bad things. Be discerning.
Yep.
And
certainly.
And I mean, if you're reading through something and you're like, I'm not really sure about that, you don't have to throw it out, but you can have conversations and say, this might not actually be what we believe. And it's a good opportunity for that.
And taking moments just to think about it. Is this something that I want my kids returning to as an example of truth?
Yeah.
We're teaching about truth each and every week. But as we said before, I mean, we've talked about a lot of books here.
Yeah.
We're both bookish people, and we have kids, it seems like, who both love books.
Yeah.
But even if they're not big into books as much, what are the patterns you're setting in life?
Exactly.
What are the patterns that you're setting at home? Are you reading a story Bible with them each day? Are you praying with them regularly? Are you filling your house with other good things and being excited for church? My wife is wonderful in when we are at home on Saturdays and she puts on like a Christian music playlist if we're just hanging out at the house, and that's what fills Lincoln's ears more so than anything else, or if we're getting ready for church on a Sunday morning. Many people are not morning people, myself included, but she always has them ready and we're good to go. And when we go to church, it's not uncommon for us to stop and grab a coffee or something, and it's not too uncommon for Lincoln to get like a munchkin or something from Dunkin', but he recognizes that, I think, from our mood going in and getting a munchkin and like this small, silly stuff like that, that like, hey, going to church is something that we look forward to. And we do. And it's a good thing that we should smile about. And we pray on Saturday nights, like, God, prepare our hearts for worship the next day. So we can make things really complicated, but I think especially at these ages, even more so than others, but I think for all of them, it starts with, okay, what is your patterns at home? What do your kids look at as, okay, this is what we can expect. This is what I know we're going to do, even if they don't understand it, because they're going to pick up on those patterns. They're going to pick up on what's important from what we do on a daily basis. And ultimately our hope is that we are pointing kids towards God being our focus, God being the most important thing in this home. And that is why we do what we do as our family. So,
and I mean, just as an encouragement, I mean, you can do it. And you've got the Spirit of God within you. You've got the local church around you. And hopefully we can, come alongside in any ways that you might find necessary. If you have any further questions about this age group, we could find some people who know what they're talking about and ask them. But hopefully this has been helpful. This has been beneficial. And we will move on to the next age group. It may not be Stuart and I, but it'll be somebody. And we will hopefully be able to continue just encouraging you in the work that you're doing, the ministry that you're doing within your home, because that is the most important ministry that you're involved with. And so we hope that this conversation has helped you to be equipped for that ministry. And we just want to thank you for listening.